Welcome back to the Stop Faking Fine podcast. I am your host and widow friend, Dana Lewis. This week, we're diving into stress and inflammation and the healthy habits you need to show up at your best. There are 4 pillars when it comes to stress management. Let's break them down and take the complicated out of health. You do have the time. You just need a better strategy. You'll walk away from this episode with tactical steps, tools, and freebies to help support your cortisol hormone and step in to feeling your absolute best. Let's dive on in. Sometimes in life, we have big milestones that create a line of time where everything is forever marked as before or after that event. Mine was August 31st of 2013. I laid in a hospital bed next to my husband and heard him take his last breath. We found out that he had a raging cancerous tumor growing around his kidney in mid-July, and on August 31st, he breathed his last breath. I laid next to him and listened as he gasped for air and then watched as all of the machines flatlined. Doctors and nurses came rushing in. It was the most surreal event I have ever experienced, exactly like what you'd see in a movie. Rewind 3 months, and by all standards, he was healthy. He was a badass executive at a big company, worked out often, and had the 6-pack abs to prove it. In order for him to travel internationally, he needed to have routine physicals. An interesting fact, and a big part of why I share this with you, is that in May of 2013, he was cleared not only for one, but the doctor shared that his labs and test results were so good, he could skip next year's physical and he would make this one valid for the following 2 years. All of the labs and regular tests came back with excellent numbers, giving Jason a pep in his step and a gloat for me as he raved about how healthy he was. We were always in some kind of sweet battle of the fittest and healthiest between the two of us. He ate as healthy as we knew how. He wasn't a big drinker, and by all means, he looked healthy. But he died, and it was fast. I walked out of that hospital and straight into a life where I lived in fight or flight. Honestly, I was in shock for longer than I'd like to admit. Like, what honestly had just happened? Maybe you've had an experience that has left you dumbfounded for how to move forward. I had no idea how I was going to pick up the pieces of my life and step forward, but I'm a doer just like you are. So I knew that I would figure it out or literally die trying. A few months ago, my oldest son, Noah, joined me on this podcast, and we talked through our lack of stress resilience as a whole. And well, really my lack of stress resilience and my lack of ability to lead our home and create a calm and stressless environment for my babies in those first few years. I was overwhelmed. And while I was not going to show that to the outside world, hello, faking fine, my home certainly felt it. I remember looking into the eyes of my littlest after I had lost it over boys being boys and spilled milk all over the kitchen. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, Dana, you are better than this. Maybe you're there right now. That was episode 25, and I will link that in the show notes. Noah is such an amazing man, and I'm so proud of him. And honestly, I'm so proud of us for where we are today, for leaning into the tools and strategies to show up better. But when that big thing happens that has forever marked the before and after of your life, what tools and strategies do you have to show up for you and step forward? My state of complete overwhelm quickly turned into high functioning anxiety as I tried to keep up the norm while secretly dying inside. And that might sound dramatic, but for real, I know you know what I mean. I wasn't an angry person per se, but when cortisol rises, your patience diminishes. And I was quickly became the person that snipped at you too quickly. There was no time for me to fumble here. There was no time for easy mornings. I had to pick up the ball of life and keep running. These kids needed to get to school, to practices. They needed lunches and snacks, new cleats for growing feet, which seemed to be every 2 weeks. And someone needed to be caring for them. Lean in. Because who is caring for you? Who was caring for me? My nervous system was wrecked, and I had no idea what that even meant at that time, nor did I have the mental bandwidth to even deal with that. Maybe you're there now. I see you juggling it all. I was doing everything I knew to manage the stress. All of these things that my husband was also doing. And I'm sure you're doing as well. Eating the best that I knew how with the time that I had. Exercising in the best way that I knew how. Prioritizing sleep the best that I could. But something was missing. Day after day, every day being a quote unquote new day, and setting out with the best of intention, something would happen and I would still feel like I was showing up at less than. Hollering at my kids and then feeling bad about it after, wishing that I could manage the overwhelm better. Gaining weight despite the exercise and eating clean. Ending each evening with 1, or who are we kidding, 5 glasses of wine to numb my mind and maybe just for a second, forget that this was my life. I know that I'm not alone here. And I would have never admitted this 5 years ago, but here I am now, and I'm sharing this for you. I have a master's degree in mechanical engineering, not in health. So this is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm a mom. I'm a nerd. And I am frustrated that we did not understand health better and that my husband died at 40, leaving me to raise 3 boys who were 6, 8, and 10 at the time. I've taken my nerdy brain and schooled up on stress and inflammation and the impact that they have on your health and what you can do about it. So today, I want to share 3 things that you should know about stress. Stress creates inflammation, and inflammation is the gatekeeper for pretty much every problem you are experiencing. Every autoimmune disorder, hormone disruption, or ailment you're battling, including your weight. There are 4 pillars when it comes to true stress management, which is the key for lowering inflammation and creating true health. Not to mention patience, energy, focus, and pants that fit. There are 4 pillars when it comes to stress management. Let's break them down so that you can walk away with tactical steps for what you can do today to support your cortisol hormone and step into feeling your absolute healthiest best. Pillar number 1, nutrition. Oh my goodness, the worst 4-letter word is diet. Have you ever had a friend that went on a diet and lost a bunch of weight, and then you tried it and got 0 results? Maybe you even gained weight. Here's why. This has so much more to do with cortisol and your stress around the diet than it has to do with the diet itself. When you raise your cortisol, it sends signals to your body to hold on to weight, the exact opposite of what your desired outcome is. The fascinating thing to understand is that your cravings do not come from your brain. They come from your gut. So eating is not mind over matter. You cannot think your way into desiring different food. You have to change the makeup of your gut. Let's unpack a popular eating diet. Thinking of eating high protein and low carb for weight loss? Here's what you need to know about cortisol. Eating in this way creates an acidic environment in the body, which increases inflammation as your body works harder to balance the excess acid. This acidity spikes cortisol production because your body perceives this imbalance as a stressor, leading to chronic inflammation. Over time, elevated cortisol levels combined with this inflammation can cause fatigue, disrupt sleep, and further stress the body, making it harder to recover and maintain balance. Why am I sharing this with you? Well, I used to eat in this way. And maybe you do too. I call it the fitness diet. Protein plus some boring salad with no dressing, high-fiving yourself for suffering through it, and smiling. Here's the thing that I want you to think about. How good do you feel? Do you have the energy, the drive, and the mood that you desire? Or are you eating in a way that you think is the right way, and then supplementing with copious amounts of coffee or energy drinks, or maybe even needing a nap in the afternoon? I was shocked to learn that eating in this way to attain an outward look was killing my cortisol circadian rhythm. I have literally tried every diet out there, and I know that I'm not the only one. I spent the greater portion of probably 20 years of my life on some kind of diet, reading the latest doctor's trends on eating for hormone balance, eating for your blood type, eating raw, eating clean, eating low glycemic, and on and on and on. If you're as confused as I was, lean in. Let's take the hard out of healthy. You do not need a diet. You need to understand how to support your cortisol hormone to lower the inflammatory response and then go live your life. It is not as hard as you're making it. Counting macros and tired of it? Same. Want to take the stress out of eating and get the results that you desire? Here's what I've learned. Your hand has the exact correct portions of everything that you need. You just need to learn what that means for you. Ditch the recipe and learn how to eat to support your cortisol hormone. Proteins plus carbs plus veggies plus healthy fats. I have unpacked all of this in a simple formula where you can look at the palm of your hand and say, okay, that is the right amount of protein. That is the right amount of veggies. That is the right amount of healthy fats. That is the right amount of carbs. I created a simple cheat sheet to empower you to eat anywhere, under any condition, and win for your stress hormone. Want a burger? Great, have one. How can you elevate that meal to support your stress hormone? Here's the skinny. Look at your hand. Open it wide like you're ready to catch a ball. Start there. Fill your plate with fruits and veggies. Now make a fist. Fill your plate with whole grains. Bread is not the enemy. Still looking at your fist, this is the correct amount of protein. Now make an OK symbol with your hand, and this is the healthy fats that you should add. Back to the burger. Have the burger. Add a little avocado for healthy fat and a side of salad, and you've set yourself up for success. You can grab this cheat sheet and learn more at danalewis.com/cheat sheet. danalewis.com/CHEATSHEET. Okay, pillar number 2, movement. Exercise has been proven to stimulate the vagus nerve, which supports your cortisol hormone, and improve your gut health. One of the biggest takeaways from this pillar is that moderate exercise is your friend. It's one of the best exercises for regulating cortisol response. So put on your sneakers and get into a good brisk walk. There is no need to overthink this element. If you have 5 minutes, take 5 minutes. If you have 5 minutes and you can break that into 3 times a day, 5 minutes times 3 times a day is amazing. If you have 15 minutes, if you have 30 minutes, put on your sneakers and go for a walk. But don't talk yourself out of not going because you don't have enough time. Take the time that you have and implement what you can. The second part about movement is that you do not need to kill yourself at the gym. I got this so wrong, and 100% so did my husband. We were go hard or die kind of people. Anaerobic heavy lifts were his jam. Here's the thing. During high intensity training, cortisol levels increase to help the body mobilize energy reserves and cope with the physical stress on the body. This is not all bad. HIIT workouts can be great as long as your life allows for the cortisol to lower after. If you're racing from a HIIT workout to caffeine to a high stress job to more caffeine, this workout is killing your cortisol, which is killing your health and happiness. What can you do instead? Do something in moderation. Have a crazy busy workday? Go for a walk. Have a kind of simple day? This is a great day for a HIIT workout. But at the end of the day, in this second pillar of movement, make sure that you are taking the time to prioritize you and make the time to move your body. Okay, pillar number 3, hydration. Proper hydration is essential for cortisol regulation, for lowering inflammation, and creating overall health. First and foremost, skip the bottled water. Marketing is so confusing right now, and there are very few options that actually live up to their claims. Instead, make your own electrolyte water. Take your filtered tap water, add a squeeze of lemon and a pinch of sea salt. Easy peasy. Honorable mention while we're talking about hydration is to limit your caffeine. 1 cup of coffee is the ideal amount of coffee for your cortisol regulation. Any more than that, you increase your chances of being dehydrated. And more importantly, caffeine stimulates the nervous system and triggers the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. This heightened response can lead to symptoms such as jitteriness, right? Restlessness, and an increased heart rate, which all amplify your feelings of anxiety. So if you're a 5 cup of coffee person in the morning, have 1 cup of coffee and follow that by 1 cup of lemon water with a pinch of sea salt. And if you feel like you still need another cup of coffee, then have that second cup of coffee, but follow it by your own electrolyte water. Pillar number 4, sleep. 7 to 8 hours is ideal. Less than 7 hours means that you are a short sleeper and your brain does not have the time to rest and repair. More than 9 hours, you're creeping into a depressive state. You might be wondering, can this be a weekly average equation? And sadly, the answer is no. You cannot sleep 5 to 6 hours during the week and then make up that time on the weekend. Inflammation does not follow that equation. Inflammation follows your everyday micro habit. Research from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, reveals that more than 35% of adults in the United States regularly fail to get the 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. This chronic sleep deprivation is linked to heightened cortisol, reduced immune function, and increased risk of chronic conditions like heart disease and obesity. Sleep is critical for the body to repair and regulate hormones and support your brain health, making it essential for managing stress and maintaining your overall well-being. If you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, but what can I do? Stick with me here as we break down habits. Because your ability to fall asleep at night depends on every little decision that you make from the moment that you wake up. Are you supporting your cortisol, melatonin, circadian rhythm, or are you slowly depleting that with every little action you take throughout the day? Some of my favorite sleep habits are the infrared mask by Higher Dose. I will link that in the show notes. Or you can head on over to danalewis.com/dose, DOSE, to check that out. The warmth from the red light is everything that I need to unwind and get into that deep REM sleep. My husband's favorite sleep habit are the Out of Office CBD gummies by Soul. I will link those as well. He has struggled with sleeping through the night for years, and this is the first thing that has made a big impact for him. You can head on over to danalewis.com/soul to learn more and save 30% with the promo Dana. There are so many simple tips and strategies for sleeping better. I could take an entire episode to talk about this. As we talk through these 4 pillars, nutrition plus exercise plus hydration plus sleep. If you're thinking to yourself, this sounds great, but how can I implement these today? This is my gift to you, an accountability partner to download. Encouragement, accountability, and simple strategies to help you conquer this list. Lower cortisol and inflammation and show up for yourself at your best every single day. I've created a healthy habits journal to help you implement each of these pillars and so much more. Take the guesswork out of health and step in to feeling your best. It's filled with simple prompts, every little micro action that you can take to lower cortisol, which will lower your inflammatory response, paired with encouragement and how-tos to help you tweak your habits one small step at a time. Head on over to danalewis.com/habits and download this free 7-day workbook to start today. This habit journal is also on Amazon. So if you're like me and you want a beautiful, easy paperback book to keep with you, to track your progress displayed in a beautiful journal, I will leave the link for the show notes, or you can head over to Amazon and search Dana Lewis Habits, and it's the first to pop up. Your results are found in your everyday habits. You do not need to wait until January 1. You do not need a big plan to revamp your life. Stop telling yourself that you'll start after whatever life event you're waiting for happens. Start today. Commit to every little habit that you have for yourself today. The entire reason that I share any of this with you is with the hope that you will empower yourself to take control of your health, that you can take what I've learned and change the trajectory of your life. Laying in a hospital bed, listening to the man that I intended to live the rest of my life with made me question, how did we get here? Stress is the problem, and your everyday habits are the answer. Take these tips, tools, and strategies and empower yourself to show up for you today and every day. Your life circumstances are probably not your fault, but what you do with your life is 100% your responsibility.